Welcome back, sports fans, to another episode on the 2315 Sports Show. We're on episode 7. Everything about Super Bowl this weekend. Obviously, we got a big game Sunday. We're going to give you the hot takes of the game. Also, we do have our one-of-a-kind guest back, our one-of-one. He's a legend in the streets, and we'll bring him on in here. We got Cory back. We had some contract disputes, but we worked through it. We got all the numbers crunched out, and welcome back, Cory. Thanks for joining us again.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad y'all found it in your budget to afford a second appearance.
It's
My
a tight
fee,
budget.
my fee is it's pretty low, but you know,
Well,
I'm glad y'all
after these
glad y'all
episodes,
can fork it out.
oh yeah, after these episodes though, it might go up. The popularity of you might just skyrocket, and we'll be screwed. Like,
So when they see the numbers we did 2 weeks ago, I'm gonna have all the big dogs coming after me.
yeah, look
Can't
out.
lose you.
Yeah, we got to find some money somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got to do something.
We got any sponsorship in the work?
Oh, I'm sure there's one, maybe two.
We're working on a few things. We'll see.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll see what happens. We might have a secret merch lineup coming out too, so we kind of got a little teaser in there. So we'll see. We'll see how the numbers look after that. I mean, you're going to be our accountant, so you're going to know if we can afford you or not. So, but a big week, big weekend out in Vegas. We all tried to go there, but just wasn't in the budget again. It could have been a fun trip. It would have been a very expensive trip, I think, on my end. Cory probably would have ended up on top and paying for the whole trip, plus coming home with stuff.
Yeah.
But so let's just jump right in. We got the pregame news with Ethan here. We'll see what he's got, and we'll go from there.
All right, guys. So some NBA news real quick. We had the trade deadline yesterday afternoon, and so we had some major deals go on. No, superstars on the move, but just some small things. Like PJ Washington get moved from Charlotte, going to Dallas. Charlotte moving Gordon Hayward to the Thunder. The Knicks, they just kind of added some shooters to their team, and so it was a quiet day for big names, but lots of small moves that I think really helped the Thunder and really helped the Knicks kind of move up into contention. Buddy Hield going to the Sixers, so just some small stuff there, but nothing nothing major going on. So it's we'll see how the rest of the season ends up and plays out, and we're gonna talk about the NBA more after this week. We'll have some more free time. But then we got the NFL awards. I know it was a big thing yesterday. Lamar MVP, Stroud Offensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson Defensive Rookie of the Year, Myles Garrett Defensive Player of the Year, CMC Offensive Player of the Year, Kevin Stefanski got Coach of the Year, and Joe Flacco Comeback Player of the Year. So what y'all's thoughts on those?
I said this on Twitter. I disagree with 2, and actually I missed the comeback, so maybe even 3 now. The one definitely for me that sticks out the most is the Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
I think it should have went to D'Amico Ryans or Dan Campbell. I really didn't care either one of those. I'd probably say D'Amico Ryans in his first year getting to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback that got hurt for, I don't know what, 5 games, 4 games, something like that, maybe even 6. So I mean that alone is pretty impressive. And I wouldn't have been mad at Dan Campbell. First time in the playoffs in 30 years with a home. I mean, there was a lot of things for him, and I think he just deserves it because he's a decent human being.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys game might have lost him the Coach of the Year with all the 2-point conversion and then the 4th downs in the championship game. That might have hurt Dan Campbell's chances.
That's a fair point. I mean, I didn't really think of that. Like, do these awards technically include the playoffs, or are they technically supposed to be Are they supposed to not, but really do? Is what I'm guessing. I mean, you don't know anymore, but I mean that's a good point. I didn't think really of that. And then the second one I had a problem with was definitely the defensive player of the year. I did get to think. I mean, Myles Garrett had a hell of a year, but I did get to think. I think T.J. Watt, stats wise, had an insanely better year than him. However, kind of bringing up maybe the injury hurt him in that, and he didn't make it the whole year. I don't know, but stats wise, to me, he played better. He had better numbers, so I think he should have got it.
Yeah.
And then again, I forgot about that. I forgot about that comeback player of the year. Personally, I mean, Flacco, yeah. I mean, he came off the couch, I think, the week before and ended up winning crazy amount of games for doing that. But I really think Baker Mayfield should have got it, to tell you the truth.
Hot
I mean,
take.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, like,
There's a player that died last year and played.
well,
he played like 3 special team snaps, and that's it.
right.
He played half the freaking Chiefs game because everybody else got hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
guess
true.
you're right.
But
It's supposed to be a regular season award. He did only play a handful of snaps.
yeah, that's I like I like Flacco for comeback player of the year because he come out just and balled out in the last couple of years. He's just kind of been hanging out, not doing a whole lot, so riding the bench. But yeah, with you, Brian, the Myles Garrett award, I think it should have went to T.J. Watt for sure because he's hands down. I know it's a every year thing, but he's the best defensive player in the NFL right now, and it's not really close, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. We do have a follower on YouTube. Our friend, pretty much all of our friends, Casey. His chat, he says, "Team Lamar, go Cards, go Colts." And I think to our comments of the comeback player of the year, it says anyone but DeMar. So I kind of agree with it.
Right on, Casey.
Yep.
If DeMar Hamlin converts that fake punt, he's comeback player of the year, no doubt.
True. Yeah, no one's competing.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah, for sure. I do think. I mean, they got it right in the MVP. Lamar, I think, pretty well. That was hands down going to be him. Like, I don't know who. Well, I mean, Cory might have a argument.
Yes, and I can't say Josh Allen. I'm gonna sound like the biggest homer of all time. So,
but you're going to say it anyway.
I'll stick up for Josh Allen.
Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar deserved it, but if Josh Allen had a better start to the season, or like in the middle, I guess he would have won it. But he was the only other vote getter in the MVP race. So, but
he got his OC fired at week whatever. So it's hard to give. Yeah, it's hard to give that person the MVP.
MVP consideration. I kind of thought Christian McCaffrey would have got a little more than I thought.
Yeah,
but I don't know. You're going to give it to a quarterback, though. So
yeah, MVP is a quarterback award, and so that's where offensive player of the year comes in. Everywhere else, so. But yeah, CMC was probably the most deserving of it, but he's not going to get it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. All right, and so we're just moving on. Just touch on one more thing here. We've got the NFL Hall of Fame. Just some notable names from that we really know: Dwight Freeney, Andre Johnson, Patrick Willis, Devin Hester, and Julius Peppers. I know you're big on them last two former Bears, so it's pretty cool to see some of the guys that we cheered for growing up getting in.
And then I think in this class there's 3 total Bears. I think the one, he was an older player. Steven is before my time, so I think he was on that kind of 85 Bear roster.
Gotcha.
But he was on there, and I think his wife came out and last on the awards. So 3 Bears in the Hall of Fame class is pretty impressive. But the one I really enjoyed the most hearing was Devin Hester, because I was worried he wasn't going to get in, and
Yep.
he deserves to get in. Like, he was electrifying.
Yeah,
Probably
best
my
returner
favorite
ever.
football player ever. I mean, and again, a homer, but if he could have got at quarterback, I would have let him. Like, put him everywhere on the Bears, and it would have been awesome. But he was just electrifying. So, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing that. So,
Yep, that's Casey here. What about no Reggie Wayne? So maybe next year. He was pretty darn good. So we'll see about next year. He'll get in.
yeah, that's
But
kinda
that's
exciting.
all we got for the news. So
Really, that's pretty light week.
that's all I got.
I mean, the NBA was kind of
Light
dry,
week, not a lot going on. Yep.
in my opinion.
Short news segment this week.
Yeah. So I'm throwing this in there. It's a Super Bowl lead up, so just kind of setting the atmosphere. We got Vegas Sunday, we got the Chiefs, and we got the 49ers. Both teams have been to the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Chiefs haven't a lot, and so is the 49ers. So should be a good one. I think it's the first year in 3 years the logo is wrong. It's an all red Super Bowl. So those of you who think the NFL is scripted, you can kind of suck it pretty much. It's not. I think some parts could be. I will give them that. But as far as that logo goes, I think that was just coincidence. I know it was 3 years straight, but be real,
Yeah.
So with that, there's a lot of other things that go with the Super Bowl that people that aren't necessarily that care about the game. And don't worry, we're not going to go on this long Taylor Swift show here, because we're not starting that. But part of it is the commercials. All these companies, they buy multi-million-dollar spots for a commercial that airs 30 seconds or 15 seconds. My question to you is, do you guys watch them? Do you guys watch commercials more now than any other sporting event, or are you just ignoring them like the rest of the year?
Listen, I've hosted a Super Bowl party every year, and I can tell you that there is 0 people in my house watching the commercials. As soon as the game goes off, everybody starts talking, getting food. I would like to watch them. I try to follow along on Twitter. I like to see them after the fact, the ones that people say were funny. But I mean, if you're at a Super Bowl party or if you're watching with a group, I mean, it's hard to pay attention to the commercials.
Okay. What about you? What do you got, Ethan? Are you a commercial guy?
Yes. I like watching the commercials. Not all of them, but I do watch some of them. I like Doritos. They always have the best commercials, I think. They like to really test their limits with what can be on TV sometimes.
Oh yeah, by a lot.
But I do like the commercials. If I'm watching the game with my dad, shout out Heavy D. He's turning it off during commercials, like he's flipping to something else. So I have to get the remote from him if I want to watch any commercials, the halftime show, anything like that, because he is not the person to watch commercials or anything. He's like, I've got to flip to something else. So
football.
Yeah. Yep. So now, I just sit around with the family most of the time. So we watch commercials but I do like them. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a commercial guy. I like them. So in this instance, like in this game, I care, but I don't care who wins. I'm going to probably watch them more and pay attention more, just because the game is another football game. But I'm on your side. Doritos kind of pushes the limit. And there's always like a Budweiser one that, like, pulls at the heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah,
which is odd for a beer commercial. But I mean, their iconic Clydesdales are usually in them. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited for them. It's a cool time of year. Or, like Cory said, if you're hosting a party, kind of hard to watch. At least they have those shows I think they run those shows, don't they? Like the top funniest Super Bowl commercials or something, like a couple weeks after, like you said, catch them on Twitter or something like that. So,
Yeah.
And when you got a room full of people that
right,
only watch one football game a year, it's almost even hard to watch the game.
that's true.
There's
That's
just
true.
a ton of distractions.
Yeah, I mean, you still have a life and friends that come over and do that. So the parents don't. We don't. No, I mean, it's us and mom and dad and well now Palmer. So Super Bowl parties are pretty quiet. And
It's not a 0% chance I'm not a father come Super Bowl
that's
Sunday.
true. That'd be wild. That's what
right.
me and Ethan said. We said that she'll go into labor like 30 minutes before the Super Bowl, and I said,
Right.
well, Shelby's gonna have it on, so it's not gonna matter.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, I might actually watch the commercials if we're watching it in the delivery room.
true.
There you go.
There you go. In addition to that, the halftime show, which my wife is always like, we're watching it no matter what. This year, I'm looking forward to this year. This is actually, another one from our kind of time growing up, a legend from our era, and it should be a pretty decent show. And I'm pretty excited who he might bring out along with him. In case no one or everyone's been living under a rock, it is Usher. So, and if you don't know who Usher is, then I don't know what to tell you.
Just go ahead
I don't
and
know.
tune out.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty excited for this one. So I don't know about you, but this one's gonna be wild, I think.
Yeah, I like the halftime shows for the most part. Every once in a while there may be somebody on there that I don't care for, or whatever. But Usher, I am excited. I like his stuff, some of his older stuff. To be honest, haven't listened to any of his new stuff, so we'll see. Hopefully, it's a good one. Hopefully, he plays a bunch of the early 2000s stuff that we all love. So we'll see how it goes.
I didn't realize Usher had new stuff, so yeah,
I didn't either
hoping
when
it's
he
the
said
classics.
that. When he said that, I'm like,
Came out with a new album today.
Hot take.
No way.
Usher has a new
Come out with
album.
a new
Of course
album
he
today.
does.
Yeah,
Of course he did. How genius is that? He's a businessman.
I seen it on the new music for Apple, so it's.
Oh,
I didn't listen to it though. I could care less.
Obviously, I didn't even know about it. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good. I think potential rumors are there's Lil Jon might come out with him, Ludacris. I do think Justin Bieber's potentially, just because I think they have a lot of songs together. So I don't know. It should be good as long as Taylor don't get up on there because she's gonna make it. I guarantee it. I think we'll be all right. And I'd feel bad for Usher if that happened. Honestly, like if the NFL said, "Oh yeah, we'll put Taylor on there. We'll pay for it." Like, be kind of a slap in the face. So for the people that don't care about commercials, don't care about any halftime show at all, let's just get right into the game then. So before we even start, and this should be my last Taylor rant, I think. I saw on Twitter, and credit to, I think, Taylor Lewan from Bussin' with the Boys from Barstool. He described the 13 theory. And I know Ethan said we talked before the show and he heard it. Cory has not. So the 13 theory is Taylor Swift's favorite number is 13, right? So we have, if she comes to the Super Bowl, I should say when she comes to the Super Bowl, it will be her 13th time seeing the Chiefs. It is a roughly 13-hour flight. I think it's 12 and some change, but it's close enough to 13 from Tokyo to Las Vegas. It is the 49ers 4-9 is 13. The 49ers are the 1 seed. The Chiefs are the 3 seed, which is 13. And then 100 minus 13 is 87, which is Travis Kelce's number. That is some insane stuff going on. But the one savior of it all, who's number 13 also playing in this game?
That's right. Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy for the 49ers. So there is their saving grace, hopefully. So with that said, I'm taking this 49ers. I do think it'll be a close game. I think we're getting into the gambling part a little later with our main man down there, Cory. But I don't know the numbers. I don't know any of the spreads or anything. But I'm 49ers. They're just a more talented team on paper. But I don't know. I think it'll be close, and I think 49ers pull it out for Shanahan's first. So
You got this, Cory. What's your thoughts, predictions?
It's crazy to bet against Mahomes. That was my theory last week, which is take Mahomes. But I do think the 49ers are the better team. They have won 2 games already, not playing their best, and for some reason that makes me more confident they'll put it all together this week. So I do lean the 49ers. They just have weapons everywhere and a crazy defense. So I got the 49ers.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'll just make it 3 for 3, go 49ers.
Oh, no, that's no fun.
I got them. Oh, yeah,
he can't pick
I just can't do it.
He can't pick the Chiefs. I could guarantee you that.
I just can't. So I seen something today where like they haven't give up more than like 8 points or something in the second half of any game in like since like week 13 or 12 or something like that. The 49ers haven't. But what also hurts the Chiefs is they're one of the worst second half teams in football. And so if they can keep it close in the first half, I think in the second half, that's when the 49ers make the most adjustments. Shanahan is on the top of his game, and they're going to come out there, and I think they're going to, run the ball a whole lot. I wouldn't go away from your bread and butter too much. Don't expect a miracle from Brock Purdy, but don't try to get him 45 pass attempts or whatever. Just play your game, and I think they're going to win probably 6-7 points, something like that. So it'll be a good game, but go Niners.
Yes, 100%. I'm in agreement. It is kind of boring. We're all on the 49ers, but I think we all just don't like the Chiefs. So I think if any other team was in it, we might have picked the other team. I don't know. But I do. I like Brock Purdy. I like the story. I like his moxie. He's kind of gutsy. So should be a good game. So getting into the numbers of it, anytime Cory is on the show, which again we're working out some details on that too. He's gonna have his own segment here because he is our gambling guru. We're gonna call it picks, parlays, and prayers. So a little bit of a background. He's just gonna give his picks, a parlay, and then, as he puts it, a deep shot or AKA a prayer. So Cory, you can take this one away. This is your time to shine, buddy. So
all right, this is where we make the money.
This is
if the podcast follows my picks, that's how you can afford to keep me on.
Okay, all right.
Just first want to point out last week I did have the Chiefs money line. I had the Lions with the points and the 49ers winning. So I was 3 for 3 last week. Don't expect that going forward.
Hot streak.
We were starting off hot. The fun part for the Super Bowl is you have all these crazy prop bets you can take. So we're going to start off with the coin toss, heads or tails. And tails never fail. So first bet, everybody lock in tails. It's been tails 7 of the last 10 years. It's running hot. No reason to mess with it now. The next prop bet is Taylor Swift appearances. This one's for you, Brian.
Okay,
it's at 5.5.
Oh, I'm pounding the over on that.
Is this just like
you think so?
Pans from the camera to her face
during the broadcast, from the opening whistle to the final whistle, not counting halftime?
Oh.
Take the
I'm
over.
still pounding the over.
So yeah, I'm taking the under. Yeah. And here's my reasoning. the Chiefs don't do anything in the second half. The 49ers defense is awesome in the second half. There's no reason for the camera to show the Kelsey family in the box in the second half. So we'll see what her number is in the first half, because that might be it.
I got over 5.5 on the first quarter. It's a Super Bowl, for God's sake.
Over 5.5 is the favorite.
Yeah, I would.
What if she doesn't? What if she doesn't even show up?
Oh,
Cory wins.
If she can't make it,
that's what he's playing.
All right, and then my last prop bet is one I really like. Total players to attempt a pass. Over under 2.5. And I like the over here. Over. And you get plus money to take it. You know how creative the Chiefs are, so I'm sure they have trick plays dialed up. 49ers also probably have something in the bag. All it takes is one receiver throwing a pass, or one injury, a quarterback going down, and over 2.5 players to attempt a pass. Then you have to be completed.
Just attempt.
I like that.
That's right, what McCaffrey. He's passed the ball a few times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Debo
should have passed it last year when Purdy got hurt, but they wouldn't let him run the Wildcat like that. Sure. Some picks during the game. The Chiefs have scored first on like their last 10 games or something crazy. So I like the first touchdown, and pick any Chiefs player. I like Kelsey to get the first touchdown, but I also wouldn't hate Pacheco or Rashee Rice. If you get Kelsey at plus 450, so that's a pretty good payout. It hit last week, and that was nice for the old account. I like 49ers -2. I would probably take them all the way up to like 3 if it gets that high. Anything higher than that, just take the 49ers money line. And then I like under 47.5 for the total. We mentioned how good the 49ers defense is. The 49ers don't score in the first half, and the Chiefs don't score in the second half. So you put those two together, it should be a lower scoring game. And then for the parlay section, using that logic and the logic that Obo used earlier, I like there's a bet for the Chiefs money line first half and the 49ers money line to win the game that pays $6.50. So that's 6.5 to 1 odds. I like that bet a lot. Mm-hmm. And then I like to put together some anytime touchdowns. I feel like in the Super Bowl, you're just going to get your best players the ball. So I'd parlay Debo and Kelsey anytime touchdown, and that's at 3 to 1 odds.
That's a safe bet.
And then you can throw in McCaffrey as well, but his odds for a touchdown are so low that it almost doesn't even factor in. But my thinking is no holding anything back, no reason to keep anything. They're going to get their playmakers the ball on both sides of both teams. So I'm thinking it's a big game from Debo. He might have a receiving touchdown. He could have a rushing touchdown. I know he's always a risk to get injured, but it's the last game of the year. So I think they feed him the rock as much as possible. And that's why my prayer pick is Debo for MVP. And it pays 20 to 1. So that's a pretty good payout. And, if you think the 49ers are going to win, they're probably not going to give the MVP to Brock Purdy.
Probably not.
McCaffrey's probably a safe bet, but again, his odds are so low that it's almost not worth picking it. So we're going to go Debo Samuel MVP at 20 to 1
for the prayer. I like that.
For the prayer.
I like it. So total in all, how much are we putting on the game? All the picks, everything. If you're adding it all up, I mean, what would you go?
Just different for everybody. Whatever you feel like putting on it. My philosophy is I kind of, when DraftKings went live in Kentucky, I put some money on there for the football season. And once football season's over, I don't really gamble as much. So we might put the whole account on games on on props and whatever.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy.
Listen, after Sunday, there's not much more betting going on until football season kicks off next year. So
True. So
might as well put it all in play.
So here in Wisconsin, we do not have this. So they're kind of behind the times of this. We have like underdog fantasy and all those, but we do not have like sports betting, DraftKings, FanDuel, those big to bet the lines. We can do like stats. That's about it. But I like the picks. I like the picks. I like the segment. It flows well, and Cory's our genius. So if it kicks off, he might on like days he's not live, he might have to send us a video so we can share the video to the people of, hey, this is what our guy says. Bet with him and see how he does. So we'll have to keep a record next year for sure during football season.
Listen, I got these picks wrote down. We'll we can start now.
Okay, all right. You're willing. You want to start at that 3-0 though first, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go back a week.
Okay, all right.
We'll do it.
Listen, I had a good week last week. I had all that, and I had Kelsey first touchdown. That was a good week.
Nice.
That was a hitter, huh?
Just to hit on your Debo MVP. I was reading something today, and that's what I was just checking again, make sure I was right. Since like 96 or 97 or something, only 9 players that will win MVP are non-quarterbacks. So, it's
so that was another
quarterback award.
That was another bet I saw that I liked. It's MVP to be a non-quarterback was plus 200, so 2-1, and I think that's a good bet too. And my thinking is, if the 49ers win, there's so many players it could be. That's not Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs win, it's almost certainly going to be Mahomes. But if you think the 49ers are going to win, 2-1 odds on that, it's not bad. I mean, there's a chance it's a defensive player. That wouldn't be crazy. If somebody has a couple interceptions or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Did they have anything on there about teams to wear white jerseys? Because I know, like, in the last 10 years, the team that wears white's 8-2. The only 2 teams that didn't were when the Eagles beat the Patriots and when the Chiefs beat the 49ers, like 4 years ago.
I'm sure they already know who's wearing white. I don't know who's technically home and away, though.
Yeah, the Niners are wearing white this year, so.
I'd have been sick if they pulled out the blacks. Don't they have a black?
Mm-hmm. They don't wear it very often. I don't think they will this year, though.
For the Super Bowl, that would have been sick. From one of our, again, Casey on the comment, I kind of missed it earlier. I'm going to see what it does. I'm going to show it on the stream here. But Cory says Niners by 4, 27-23. So that's his take on the game itself. So he's kind of on our board as well. So I kind of like how that
I'm starting to flip. If all of us are on the 49ers, then it's there's no way we're all right.
Yeah, no way. No.
But I've seen that most of the bets in Vegas have came in on the Chiefs.
Well, that helps. We'll take that. So are they the favorite?
49ers are the favorite.
I figured they were.
49ers minus 2.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. That was a good rundown of the. I like how it flowed.
I got one more since Casey's in the chat.
Okay.
Somehow, some way, the Louisville Cardinals are a 1.5 point favorite tomorrow.
First time all year?
I don't know about first time all year, but I know nothing about Georgia Tech. But if they're getting positive money tomorrow, we're going Georgia Tech money line. Sorry, Casey.
So Georgia Tech just beat Carolina. So, and they look pretty good. They're kind of vicious. They're rough.
Putting money on it right now.
Now, part of me, that game was right after an emotional Duke win, so some of that I think came over to that. But I don't know. I wouldn't take Georgia Tech lightly. I mean, they look pretty tough. So
they're underdogs.
Yeah, and for that money line, you'd probably gain a lot. I mean,
It's not 1.5. It'll be
I mean,
pretty much as even money, but
I'd still take it. Could be an easy win for the record, right? You could end up.
we can add it to the board.
Okay, all right.
There we go.
He's confident in it.
I'll
Casey,
keep track.
look out.
I'll keep track on the whiteboard over here.
There you go. There you go. So, our last segment here, we wanted to have a little fun, and for our ticker, I have mine filled out, so I'll go first, and then I'll fill out Ethan's and then Cory's as we go. But we're gonna play a little. I don't want to say a game, but more like a ranking scenario. We're gonna do our Mount Rushmore of NFL players. So we had a rough time discussing this because Cory brought up a good point. If it's going to be a Mount Rushmore all time, it's going to be mostly quarterbacks because that's what the league looks at. They, so we had to devise a system here. So we had one QB, one running back, one wide receiver, and a defensive player that we had to pick. So I'm going to show these real quick. Casey said Georgia Tech is terrible, and they're playing decent. And then he says, but they do have a good dub over UNC. So, and I painfully watched that game. So, so that's for you, Cory. We'll just say that. A little friendly banter there, I think. He also said this is one of the few we have left we could win. So he likes the chances. So we'll take them, Casey. That's all I got to say. You got to look for the little things. So back to the game. We're going to do Mount Rushmore. I will say mine first. So I don't know football history probably like the two beside me do. I'm relatively, I don't want to say new to football. I didn't care much. So mine might seem a little boring. One's going to be a homer just because I'm a Bears fan. So the first, my QB, just because I grew up with him and my best friend loves him, is going to be Tom Brady. To me, he's the greatest. Winning. I mean, maybe not stats, but it's championships everyone's after. So he's my quarterback. I do have Walter Payton as my running back. So sweetness, that's my homer pick right there. Obviously, never watched him play, but you see highlights, and so that's what I'm going with. That's my homer pick there because I don't want to be like there's a lot of running backs that are kind of the same. My wide receiver is Jerry Rice. That's who you hear all the time. That's who everyone compares everyone to. So that's why I went to that. And my defense is Ray Lewis. Again, just because I watched him the most, and he was just pure nasty on the defensive end, and that whole defense was. But he was the catalyst of it all. So that is mine. Again, kind of a newbie at that, but you can hate it, you can love it. Doesn't affect me either way.
Yeah.
So what
I don't think they're any bad. No, there's no bad selections there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
well,
no,
I feel like Ray Lewis doesn't. Go ahead.
I was going to say I like the Ray Lewis pick. He's like I'm pretty sure he's the NFL all-time leader in tackles. So I mean, I know there's other stuff that goes into defense, but I mean, he's probably one of the most fundamentally sound players. And then everybody feared him. Nobody wanted to come across the middle. Receivers didn't. Running backs didn't want to meet him in the hole because they knew what was going to happen. He was one guy that nobody really wanted to meet anywhere on the field.
Yep.
I feel like he doesn't get mentioned as like an all-time great defensive player. I mean, obviously everybody says he's really, really good, but I feel like he's not always in at the top of these lists. But there's also things that you can't really measure with stats. Like he's an awesome leader, crazy teammate, intimidation. Like I think all that plays into it as well.
And to me, the walkout sold me. Like you can't beat that walkout. Like I'm sorry. Like, so that
We're gonna
was mine. That's
have to see you walk out to that next show.
that'll be a TikTok content. I'll try that. I'll learn it.
There we go.
News is I am coming down. Looks like the first week of June. Mentioned to you now. Cory knows, but I kind of think we set that in stone. So might be a little TikTok content getting created on the golf course. I walked up to the first tee of that. So this poor golf course probably going to get kicked out the first hole. But so Ethan, again on the ticker, I'll kind of fill it in as you go because I did not.
Okay.
We do not know each other's picks, so this is all new for all of us. So
yeah, so my quarterback was pretty obvious who I was going to go with. It's Tom Brady, of course, my favorite player all time, but also he's the greatest player of all time. Most Super Bowl wins, passing leader for touchdowns, wins, yards, everything. He's the greatest. There's really not that much of a debate. You know, in 5-10 years, maybe we'll debate it again, but right now it's not close. Running back for me, I was looking, at just some different players, and Emmitt Smith kept coming up because, he does lead almost all major stats for running backs, but I like Adrian Peterson better. He was tough and physical. He could run over you, run through you, but he could also run around you. Dude was dominant, and I really like him. So he's my running back. My wide receiver is kind of the same. It's Jerry Rice. I know don't want a ton of repetitiveness, but it's hard for me to pick anybody else. But if I was going to, maybe Terrell Owens or Larry Fitzgerald or something, but Jerry Rice is the guy. He's the model. It's hard to, like I said, it's hard to pick away from that. Defensive player, I went Aaron Donald. Guy still playing, still dominating, but he's probably one of the most feared players to play against because he can rush the passer, but he can also, play against the run real well, move all the way across the line. So he's mine, but I did have Ray Lewis on my list, and I also had Ed Reed as an option because I like them, but it came down to who I thought was better, and I think Aaron Donald's that guy.
I like that.
No complaints on that one either.
Adrian Peterson surprised me, but he was dominant. Like as a Bears fan, yeah. I do remember him very vividly, and it hurts a lot because he killed the Bears. He killed everyone pretty much. But I like that. Aaron Donald was a surprise for me from you because when you said defensive line in our little conversation before the show, I really thought you were going to go with like Sapp or Wilfork just because.
Yeah.
But I like that pick. I don't mind. He's kind of vicious. He's ferocious. So, and he's still going. So,
I like the AP pick. Like these running backs, the older running backs kind of have like their legacy seems to be so big. But if you're talking about the greatest of all time, like those dudes couldn't play today. Like I feel like any of the top players of all time have to be relatively recent with like how much better just athletes in general everybody is. Like those guys back then might have been the gap between them and the next best running back might have been bigger than whatever AP had in his time. But I think just if you're talking about who's the best of all time, AP is who I had as well.
Oh,
yeah. That's the only other person that I could have, thought, like you said, play in this day and age would maybe be like Barry Sanders because he was so shifty and he was fast, and he was a guy that kind of was playing before his time, I guess. That's where, like me and you, Brian, I know we've had the talk about like Reggie Bush. Today's game, you put Reggie Bush in today's game, and he'd be up there with Christian McCaffrey, if not better. So he's one of them guys that could have done it all. So just the different, times in the league, the different eras, it's tough to compare.
Oh yeah, I agree. All right, Cory, what you got?
All right. Well, my real list looks a whole lot like Oval's. We had the same three. 3 out of the 4 were the same. But I also made a top 3 at each position just so mine wouldn't have any duplicates.
Okay.
So I did have Brady, but you can also make the case for Mahomes. It's probably a little early for him, but I mean, Mahomes is probably at or getting close to the peak of his career. If he's going to be the greatest of all time, why not go ahead and crown him now? Does
That's a hot take.
longevity make that big of a difference? Like if it's we're not really saying the best like career of all time. Just who is the best single player of all time? I mean, it's hard to argue against Mahomes right now.
That's a hot take. I'm surprised he ain't leaving.
Hey, look, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
Here it is.
So I told Brian last week on our show that Mahomes his trajectory is right up there. Like, and so for me with Mahomes, like he's probably no, not probably. He is a better thrower of the football than Tom Brady could ever imagine. But when it comes to everything else, like Mahomes, his best year doesn't like Brady has stats that are better than those, and he never won MVP in those years. So like, and Mahomes is 0-2 versus Brady in the playoffs when it matters the most.
You knew that was coming.
So like he's got to me he's.
So you're saying Mahomes is a better passer,
better thrower of the football.
Mahomes is a better runner.
Okay.
Sounds like I'm taking Mahomes as the best player of all time.
That's it. No way. Dude said he can't even read defenses.
Don't have to when you can throw. And you got Travis Kelce to throw it too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it will be interesting to see what happens with like post Travis Kelce because those two guys are just on an insane connection. Like, because they can draw up plays in the sand and it's effective. So it will be interesting to see because Mahomes will have a whole career without Kelce.
Yeah, I said this last week, and we can get into your rest of your list, but I think the catalyst of that team is Andy Reid. I don't know is Travis Kelce. I mean, he's a big loss, obviously, when he decides to go. But you can replace the numbers between the wide receivers and tight ends and running backs with him. You might not be able to, come up with the leadership and the moxie that he has, but it's Andy Reid that is the catalyst. When Andy Reid goes, that team goes. I fully believe that. So continue on with your list.
Andy Reid's the best coach in NFL history.
Ooh, hot take from a Patriots fan.
Yeah. All right, moving on to running back. I also had Adrian Peterson. I had a tough time coming in with a second one. LaDainian Tomlinson is up there for me. And he just put up some crazy numbers, and I may have a little bias in. Like that's when I first started really getting into football and watching football, and he was just scoring touchdown after touchdown. So I think my pick is LaDainian Tomlinson, but another potential person for this, the game has changed a lot. So if we're saying who's the best player of all time that could play today, it might be Christian McCaffrey.
I 100% agree.
If you're going to take the best running back in the, probably the best era of football, it'd be hard to keep him off the list. I'm saying LaDainian Tomlinson, but I think Christian McCaffrey is right there with him. My argument kind of loses some steam with receivers. Jerry Rice the numbers he put up in the longevity is absolutely insane. I mean, he's there's a stat somewhere, I didn't look it up, but like his numbers after age 40 would still be like a top tier receiver. But just to go somewhere else, we'll put Randy Moss on the list. He has there's a verb named after him. I mean, he is completely dominant. Put up some crazy numbers with your boy Brady. Maybe without Moss, Brady might not be on the top of your list. And then
he's not talking anymore after the Mahomes thing. He's done. Like, he's checked out.
No, we're still friends. We're still friends.
just trying to get some content out of him.
You'll
and then
get it.
defensive player is tough. I have Lawrence Taylor as my number one. That's kind of like the unanimous number one pick. But some of the defensive players, it's hard because they may not have the stats to back it up. I mean, if you're a lockdown corner, you're not going to have that many interceptions or passes defended because the quarterback's gone the opposite way. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just stats. But Lawrence Taylor was kind of just a freak, and I think he's pretty well agreed upon as the best defensive player.
I like that. I would have said him too.
That's what
I just like Ray Lewis better.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at some stats earlier, and that's like Champ Bailey, like where it kind of goes with you talking about lockdown corner. Champ Bailey leads the NFL ever in passes defended, but like his interception numbers aren't up there. But people were kind of afraid to throw the ball his way. So like he's probably one of the best corners ever. But I mean, I see where you're getting there, not getting throwing the ball your way at all.
Aaron Donald was also on my list for defense, and I put Deion Sanders on there as well. That was a guy that was he changed the game, so I think he could be in contention for that as well.
I also think with him, his game travels to this generation's game too.
Oh yeah,
but what corner doesn't? Like, I feel that position it hasn't changed much. To me, and I don't know as he was a corner per se, but he was with the Seahawks, that big dude that would just lay the wood on people. Who was that in the Legion
Brandon
of Boom?
Browner?
No, the corner or safety, the big guy, like
Cam Chancellor.
No. Yeah. And I don't know what he was. I think he was a safety technically or something like that. But, like, he was insane. He just didn't do it for a long time, but he was an insane athlete. Kind of a DK Metcalf of the defense, in other words.
Yeah.
So
Sean Taylor type guy.
Yeah. With that being said, I know Ethan picked. I mean, is that your pick? For coach of all time, best coach of all time, you're picking Andy Reid. Is that who you're going with?
If we could get, like if it was like, oh, you have a week to prepare, probably still 2 weeks to prepare, definitely taking Andy Reid because like coming off a bye, he's got this insane record. I'm not sure what it is, but like his win percentage is over 75% on a bye.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody else I'd rather have coaching my team than Andy Reid.
I'd agree with it. I want to be a little different. And I'm honestly taking Mike Tomlin. The dude hasn't been under 500 his whole career. Like, to me, I mean, it'd be more impressive if he came to the Bears and did that. But, like, Pittsburgh has had a lot of down years. I mean, that people don't realize. But, I mean, there was time, Big Ben gets hurt and all these things, and he's still at least 500. Again, I do like Andy Reid. I'd probably pick him. But to be different, I would also I'm taking Mike Tomlin, I think.
I like Tomlin. That's a good pick.
Give me Belichick with the third pick. If he's sitting there at 3, can't pass him up.
Can't pass him up.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
That's honestly, that's what I like Belichick, obviously, but it's just his record without Brady is sub 500.
For the record, I want head coach Belichick, not GM Belichick.
That's fair.
That
is fair. That I'll agree to that.
He's probably, if you could get a staff that was like that, you could get Andy Reid as your head coach and Belichick as like your defensive coordinator. That would be wild. Like Kyle Shanahan as your offense coordinator. That would be probably the best staff ever. I don't see how you could lose, even with a mediocre roster. They put you in the best position every week.
Put what's his name as the GM, Lynch, out of the Niners, and you're going undefeated every year. That guy, he's a great GM. Like, he's impressive. So
yeah.
With that, I like it. We're all in the 49ers, which is kind of scary. We had a lot of fun. Thank you again, Cory, for joining us as always.
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
We are kind of looking. Me and Cory, we have been discussing as a group. Cory is not big on anything other than football. So what I think the agreement has been, we still got to get the contract signed. But what I think is, I invited everyone to a calendar, and I will put the subjects up. And if he likes something or has something to say, he'll come on the show. If not, we'll see him in the fall for football. And I'm assuming that's college football too, right?
Oh yeah, college football. College football is probably if you want some picks. My record in college football is much better than the NFL. But
and I'm assuming,
there we go.
Hopefully,
college
March
basketball.
Madness episode.
I'm probably
too.
good through college basketball. But listen, if y'all want me to talk about NBA or MLB, y'all are going to be losing viewers left and right.
Okay, all right. Well, would you be willing to send a gambling video in? Would you study up?
For gambling, I'll do it.
You'll do anything. All right, we will take that. Again, thank you, Cory. Much appreciated.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Cory.
And Ethan, hit him with the outro.
All right. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in, however and wherever you may be listening. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Listen to us on Apple Pod and Spotify. 23XV Sports Show. Peace.